Oh, we're live. Wow. That was nice. It's my fault. I didn't know. No, I'm going to blame myself. This is Fantasy Gainz. Producer's taking blame. I'm going to take blame more. You know what? It was Kyle's fault. This is Fantasy Gainz. I'm Squish. That is Kyle. Kyle, you a little upset I just blamed you? I think you're muted for once. Kyle's muted. Let's go.
Wow, how about that? I finally am the one who's muted. Wow, it's an amazing day, incredible.
What a Christmas miracle!
Yeah, I'm in the good holiday spirit. You know, we got Christmas Eve tomorrow, Christmas Day. Got sporting events all over the place. NBA came back last night. Tonight we got a 13 game slate. It's
12.
Great. We got 12. Oh
12
yeah,
now.
12.
We'll get to that.
Because COVID has to ruin everything and cancel the Rockets and Thunder games. So yeah, only 12, but still good. We got a good slate tonight for NBA. 12.
All right. First, before we get into anything else, we have a giveaway winner from the tweet that was sent out. Kyle, I'm gonna let you do this.
So we got Zachary Simmons 9 as our winner on Twitter. Congratulations to him. You'll get you the credit to your account after the show is over.
All right. As long as you tweet us your username or you DM us your username, whatever you want to do, we'll get you that ticket. I see Your Staff is in the building. They're back. We're back. Also, we have Joseph Holden, big slate on YouTube, and we're going to get into it. We are. But first, we got to talk about the slate. This is huge, Kyle. Basketball's back. It felt like it was so quick. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's still time to join our jump shot contest that tips off at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. We're bringing our NBA product back with a massive, was 13, now it's 12, game slate, $50,000 in total prizes, 10 grand to first place. So why not put a little $15 into that contest and try your hand? Why not? And we're going to give you plays to do it. We're going to give you plays to take down that 10 grand prize.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have some. It was a good board to look at. I mean, there's just with 13, well now 12 games to look at. There are a lot of options to choose from. So I got two guys. You had two guys, but Al Horford was one of yours. He's gone because COVID. This is going to happen a lot.
Before you go into that, I just want to mention Al Horford was going to go off tonight at 1.65x. I'm just saying. His numbers in the preseason, he's the second option now in OKC. Just look at that real quick. Not going to spend a lot of time on it, but 2 games in preseason, he balled out at 1.65 with the injuries from Houston or the late scratches because of COVID. He was going to go off. I am taking that as a win because I'm the host and I can do that.
I think he's going to be very good. I think he's going to put up big numbers this season, and OKC is the second option. No Steven Adams there. Not a clunky fit in Philadelphia anymore. I think he's going to be good. But for tonight, so I'm picking a couple all-stars tonight. Not going there. There's a lot of all-stars to choose from. So, I mean, there's a bunch of, so it is kind of hard to narrow it down. But I narrowed my choice down to one. The first guy I'm going with is Damian Lillard, who was fantastic last season. It was his career. He had a career year, averaging 30 points and 8 assists per game. And even better is he's facing off against the Utah Jazz, who he absolutely scorched last year for 40 in 3 games, 42 points per game, 4 rebounds, 8.7 assists. 66.5 fantasy points per game over those 3 games. And I don't see this changing at all coming into this season with Utah's roster being pretty much exactly the same as it was last year. Derek Favors gets added. Bojan Bogdanovic comes back from injury. But the real thing that allows Lillard to go off against this team is the way Utah plays defense. They have Rudy Gobert, and the way they play their pick and roll coverages, they have Gobert dropping and they never switch anything. So that just allows Lillard to walk into wide open 3-pointers. And that's what gave him those big points against Utah last year.
So what you're saying is it's Dame time. Tonight's Dame time.
Exactly. Right. So he comes off a screen. Gobert is going to be in the paint, and he's going to be wide open for those pull-up three-pointers. And last year in those games, he attempted 42 threes, and he shot 57% from three. So I don't see anything changing with this matchup. This is what Utah does. Utah likes to drop Gobert back, and the sniper, the guys who can snipe threes off the dribble like Damian Lillard will take advantage. So
Utah plays like a hockey defense. They just pack it in towards the goalie.
Mm-hmm.
Also, quickly, Georgestaff, you said Horford's out. Got to check your season long. I'm surprised you don't know this. The Thunder and Rockets game is postponed because the Rockets don't have enough men, which would be 8, to play this game because of COVID and all that stuff. So yes, we didn't mention that properly. The Rockets in Thunder game this evening postponed. They will be marked out in your lineups. They are right now. They will not accrue points. So don't be writing in asking our support team, will these people accrue points? Or after the fact, why did they not score points? Because they didn't play.
Exactly.
Keep going, Kyle. Who's your second play?
And it was announced over an hour ago, so there's plenty of time for you to adjust lines.
Yeah, they're like Patrick Starr living under a rock, but that's neither here nor there. Go ahead.
Right. So I think Dame's going to go off tonight. Everything points towards that, and he gets the 1.15x value as well.
Little juice.
Yep. And so next guy that I'm going with is the best player on my personal favorite team, Jason Tatum, the Boston Celtics. It's going to be a tough start for the Celtics this year with no Kemba Walker for at least a month or two. We don't know what's going on with his knee injury. Gordon Hayward is obviously gone. So I think we're going to see a ultra aggressive Jason Tatum in the first month of the season, and specifically in this game against Milwaukee. And we saw last year what he did without Kemba Walker. And when Tatum had his second half of the season explosion, he played 8 games without Kemba, 55.1 fantasy points per game. And not only that, but we also saw him develop into a passer in the playoffs as well. Like that was something we hadn't seen at all. Like he was only a scorer and a rebounder, but in the playoffs we saw him, develop his playmaking skills with averaging 5.8 assists in the last 13 games of the playoffs, which is the 2 series against Toronto and Miami, and then also putting up 25.3 points and 10.1 rebounds. So I don't think those playmaking abilities were a fluke. I think we're going to see that this season. And I think when you add in his ability to rack up assists, and then that's not even including is the ability to get steals and blocks on the defensive end. I think 1.2x is going to be a steal for him because he's going to be a 1x
in no time, in my opinion.
And it's really just because he's a great player, but it's also because of the circumstances around him where he's going to have to carry this team. So I think we're going to see it tonight against Milwaukee, and we're going to see it going forward this season. So I think when you can get him at 1.2x right now, I think you should. So yeah, I'm going with Damian Lillard and Jason Tatum tonight.
All right. I have one play because Al Horford is not going to be playing, and it's another Celtic. It's Jeff Teague. I was surprised to see him at 1.75x, knowing that he's going to be the starting point guard for Boston tonight, filling in for Kemba Walker's role. And we talked about that. No Kemba Walker, but we didn't talk about no Eric Bledsoe now for the Milwaukee Bucks. He's on the New Orleans Pelicans or the Saints or whatever their team is. I know it's the Pelicans, all right? I know it. I'm a basketball guy sometimes. But Eric Bledsoe is one of the best, arguably the best defensive guard in the NBA. He does his best to shut down other opposing guards. Jeff Teague has nothing to worry about in that case. No Eric Bledsoe tonight. Teague, what? What are you saying? What are you saying?
Drew Holiday is just as good, if not better, than Eric Bledsoe on defense.
Oh, yeah?
We'll
see this. We'll see this. Jeff Teague played 27 or more minutes in 22 games last season. He averaged 15 points, just over 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and 1 steal in those games. That's 57.2 with his 1.75x multiplier. I know Jason Tatum's going to have to take a lot of this on himself, but Jeff Teague getting starting minutes, there's no reason to believe that he can't get 15, 7, 3, and a steal. against this Milwaukee team. And I'm just saying, if we're coming from a value standpoint, I see no other person with more value than Jeff Teague on this slate, given that he's starting at 1.75x. He has the ball in his hands. It's not like Jason Tatum is a point forward that brings the ball up every possession. Jeff Teague is going to have to facilitate here. He has no Eric Bledsoe to deal with. I don't care how good Drew Holiday is. He was not as good defensively as Eric Bledsoe, and that's a fact. And Jeff Teague at 1.75x, I don't know if he'll break the slate, but he'll get you some cash.
I will say that he's a good value play for the.
And Jor even said Holiday won't be on Teague.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jor. I disagree with you and my my guy Squish here on that. I think Drew Holiday, he's a guy who matches up against point guards, and Jeff Teague is the point guard. So I think it's a good pick for if you're looking for value plays like in the the higher multiplier range. I personally would not feel comfortable trusting him over a guy who has the lower multiplier at 1.1, but has a much, higher floor than someone like Jeff Teague does. So I get where you're coming from. I just don't think the matchup is favorable enough for me personally to lock him in.
And that's why you live in the cash games and I live in the GPPs. All right, now to Fantasy Gained. Talk about last week. Kyle, he had a pretty big week. Your stack. Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Calvin Ridley, 85.25.
Yeah, I said last week on the show that, Tom Brady lights up the Atlanta Falcons. He looked like he was 1,000 years old in the first half against the Falcons. Well, and guess what? That happened in the Super Bowl in 2016 too. And you know what happened in the second half? He lit them up like a damn Christmas tree. And that's what Tom Brady does against the Falcons. And so that shouldn't have surprised anybody. And Calvin
Real
Ridley,
quick, Kyle, you got a quick shout out on YouTube. Joseph Holden says you're the one that emails back within 3.5 seconds. Yeah, he is, because Kyle's good at his job.
I am. Attaboy, Joseph. I try to do my very best for you. So,
and quickly to your fade, Russell Wilson, awful. 13 points, looked disgusting. And that's the way it's looked. They wanted to let Russ cook, but now we're cooking him and making some dough.
Absolutely. It's just I was tempted on fading him again this week. I mean, he's at 1.05 again this week, but I didn't want to repeat myself. But yeah, he's been really bad this year, or not this year, recently. He was great to start the year, but recently he hasn't looked good at all. And Washington's defense has been really good. So it was that was an easy one to see coming in. Well, I didn't think he would be that low, but with that multiplier, he wasn't going to provide good value.
The only really great play I had last week was my stack. It wasn't even as good as Kyle's. I had Nick Mullins, Ayuk, and Lamb, and it was really saved by Lamb's onside kick return for a touchdown, which was one of those things you want to do in Madden, but you never can, and never think it's ever going to happen. But CeeDee Lamb did it. That stack ended up just under 75 points. But we got a lot more plays. Kyle, must start for this week. Who are you going with?
So I am going with a possible revenge game candidate here. A little narrative for you.
I love that.
You love the narrative stuff.
Now I'm all perked up.
It's Manalytics. I'm usually the analytics guy. You're the Manalytics guy. We're doing a little bit of a role reversal here.
What do we got?
So Allen Robinson, he's a Chicago Bear now. He's now going up against his former team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he's going to have a nice day because he's been excellent since Mitch Trubisky has taken over. He's averaging 17.3 fantasy points per game since Trubisky has taken over the last 4. That's 22.4 when you factor in his 1.3x multiplier. And the only guy that he's in the draft group right now, that 17.3 fantasy points per game value is only less than Tyreek Hill and Calvin Ridley. So he's arguably a 1.1 caliber receiver with Trubisky at quarterback in these last 4 games. So I think that trend is going to continue. And I also think that Jacksonville struggles against the passing. They struggle against defending the pass. Sixth most fantasy points allowed to opposing receivers. There is that revenge angle that I like. And so, yeah, I think that's all you need to know about Allen Robinson. I think he's going to have another big week this week, and he's going to provide great value for you.
It's crazy that he's still in that range, right? He's always between 1.3 and 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be because of that offense and that the quarterbacks that they have there. But Allen Robinson, every day or every game, you would expect him possibly to be the best wide receiver on the field.
Absolutely.
He is that good. It's just that system, but his talent really takes over for the lack of quarterback play that he's seen in the recent years.
Yeah, and I just think that he has been in this range because Nick Foles has just been an absolute atrocity at quarterback. He's been terrible. I still can't believe the Patriots lost to that guy at quarterback. It will never blow my mind. It will never not blow my mind. But
it's because Malcolm Butler didn't play.
Still, I mean, I could have been playing corner out there, and we should have still been able to beat Philadelphia.
I agree.
But yeah, I think Trubisky's been better than him, and that's why Robinson has been producing better lately.
And Robinson's agent went on Twitter and said, "Get my man the ball in the red zone. Why are you not throwing it to him?" And I would hate to admit this, but I think that had something to do with it. I think the agent bitching on Twitter of why his client is not getting the ball when it matters most has had an effect on that. Because he's been getting it more, especially in the red zone. My must start, there's apparently Antonio Gibson's been practicing. We make these picks earlier in the week, so I don't know. But even if Antonio Gibson is playing, I like the floor of McKissick at 1.55 because, and it doesn't matter, last week when Dwayne Haskins came in, I wanted to look at McKissick to see if he still got those looks, still got those targets. He still got, I believe, 9 or 10 targets out of the backfield last week. So the quarterback didn't matter because we all know Alex Smith. He's the king of checkdowns. He was going to throw to his running backs. Dwayne Haskins did the same thing. It doesn't matter who starts at quarterback. It doesn't matter who starts at running back. I think J.D. McKissick in cash games has a lot of value at 1.55x. If Gibson doesn't go, huge tournament play for me is McKissick because he doesn't really score. You know, he gets touches. He just can't really find the end zone. We'll look through here.
Yep.
Last 2 games without Gibson, 35 touches, 193 total yards, 14 targets in those 2 games. And he's not getting a whole ton of rushes, but he's getting looks out of the backfield. Like I said, it didn't matter which quarterback was playing. He was getting targets. Huge high floor play, especially in cash games. 13 touches per game in his last 7, 5.7 yards per touch isn't great, but 8.4 targets per game. At half-point PPR with 1.55x. You can go check my Twitter. There's an Instagram model or Twitter model, whatever. She posted a couple photos that are a little risque, and the caption was, "Tell me something good." And I quote tweeted and said, J.D. McKissick is 1.55x on SuperDraft this weekend. That's how much I love this play. I like it.
Can't blame you.
Even with Gibson playing, McKissick still gets targets. If he finds the end zone, great. But this is a great high floor play with the usage and multiplier. And I'm pretty excited. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, and he's playing against Carolina. And Carolina, who is just, they haven't been good against running backs all season. So I think, I like it. Even if it's obviously much better if Gibson is out, but I do see where you're coming from. Even if he does play, I still think with his multiplier, I think he is worth throwing in there.
Yes, like if Gibson does play, cash game. If he doesn't, he is going to be high owned. He is going to be high owned in the red zone and other GPPs. But he's somebody at 1.55x. It gets my juices going. Like I might have to take off a Leia. Feel a little warm.
Can't blame you.
All right. After that, now we've got a little bit of promotion here. Kyle, it's Christmas. 2 days away, 1.5 days away. It doesn't feel like Christmas. It's been a crazy year. You know what? Take out your phone.
Yeah, let's
take out your phone, open up the SuperDraft app, and tell me what Santa left you in your account.
Let's see. SuperDraft app going. Oh my God, look, it's a ticket.
It's a ticket. Wow.
Who left that for me?
Now be careful, little one. be careful. Don't spend it all in one place. But if you do, make sure you spend. Well, you have to spend it all in one place. It's a ticket. Well, what am I saying? But it expires Christmas Day, so you better get to it.
Oh yeah, I gotta get to it. Gotta use it. Obviously, I can't use it because I am an employee. But you out there, you have to use it before tomorrow night at midnight. You know, Santa left you this ticket.
I mean, he's got such a busy schedule. It's going to be disrespectful to not use the damn ticket.
Absolutely. It would just go to waste.
Scratch what I said earlier. People say don't spend it all in one place. No, dude, you have to. That's the only way you can use it because it's a ticket. Make sure you spend it all in one place because that means you're using it.
So yeah.
And then when you win from that ticket, take your girl out to an Italian restaurant and start. What was that joke we made a while ago?
Gallinari.
And start calling your Danilo Gallinari. Take her out to a fancy Italian restaurant. It doesn't matter if you get a waiter or a waitress. Look the man in the eye or woman and say, I'll take the Danilo Gallinari. Because that's how winners are born.
But yeah, go to the app. There's going to be a free ticket for you. And there you go. Use it by tomorrow night at midnight.
I think we did good.
I
think we did good on that.
Mm-hmm.
Quick check. I'm looking back. I think we did fine. I wouldn't fade it, but Kyle, who are you fading this week? That's a professional segue.
Excellent. So I am going to fade a guy that looks like an easy pick, but Nick Chubb, 1.15x. His multiplier was a little bit higher. It's been moved down. And the New York Jets got their first win last week somehow against the Rams. And
cost me my season-long fantasy championship, but I'm not mad.
And it hurt your pick last week with Cam Akers. And
yeah,
I was right
there. He went down. He did get hurt.
But he came back though, and he played in the second half. So, and the Jets are low key a very good run defense team. You wouldn't think so with they've been winless up until last week, but they're 8th in the league in yards per carry for their opponent. They're ranked 11th in fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs. And Nick Chubb this year, if you look at the schedule, he's just ran against a bunch of bad run defenses. And this past week against the Giants, this is the first top 10 run defense Chubb faced all year. And he had 15 carries for 50 yards, which is, I think that's 3.3 yards per carry. And if it wasn't for that touchdown, he would have been a total bust last week. And so the Jets have a similar type of run defense as the Giants, again, in the top 10 when it comes to yards per carry. So I think this is going to be a week where Chubb, you would think, the Browns get out to a big lead, they start running with Chubb. I think this is gonna bite people in the ass like Cam Akers did last week, thinking that I think the Browns they'll probably run away with this one. I don't think the Jets can compete against another good team 2 weeks in a row. But I think with how good their run defense is, which people don't seem to acknowledge very much, I think Chubb is going to be. He's going to disappoint people at 1.15.
I feel like this is a direct attack, not at my pick last week, but at my pick for the last 3 weeks. Because if you remember, my last 3 must-starts were running backs going against the New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks ago, it was Devontae Booker. Did squat. 2 weeks ago, it was Chris Carson. Got a touchdown. Not enough to really claim a victory, but I still did because I own the narrative. And last week, Cam Akers. Didn't really do much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm honestly, for the show, I'm hoping Nick Chubb doesn't do a damn thing. But for my pride, I hope he sets a single game rushing record to set you straight.
It's sad to say. The Jets have kind of just tossed you in a body bag these last 3 weeks.
All right. Well, Quinnen Williams just went on IR.
Ooh.
Does that change your mood at all?
That does change my mood a little bit. So he's probably their best run defender. So I think that could change things a little bit, but that's only
the worst part about it, we'll get to my fade really quick. I, for a good 15-20 minutes, thought about making Nick Chubb my must start this week.
Wow.
But I didn't. But I thought about it, but I did not.
Something.
I'm fading DK Metcalf. This should come as no surprise to people at 1.1x. That multiplier does not do it for me with that matchup. He's going to get shadowed by Jalen Ramsey. And we all know who Jalen Ramsey is. He's a dog.
Best
2
corner in the
catches,
league.
28 yards on 4 targets their last matchup. He didn't do squat against Ramsey. In his career against the Rams, 10 catches, 150 yards, 1 touchdown. That's in 3 games. Hasn't done great. He's put up numbers, but not enough for a 1.1x to really anticipate that monster game that you would want from somebody with such a low multiplier. In the Rams, 1 touchdown to wide receivers in the last 4 weeks, only 200-yard receivers all year long. I believe that was Deebo Samuel and Cole Beasley. Guys not like DK Metcalf. The guys that aren't getting shadowed by Jalen Ramsey. Bad spot for him. And like you said, you thought about fading Russell Wilson. That would make sense. Against the Rams, at that multiplier, they just don't make sense.
Yeah, and the Rams, I bet the Rams were they looked past the Jets ahead to this matchup because this matchup basically determines the winner of the NFC West this year. So I think, the people might be souring on the Rams after what happened last week, but I think, McVay's a good coach. They're going to lock back in for this week. And I think it's going to be a tough time for even though they're playing in Seattle, I think it's going to be a tough time for Wilson.
Yeah, it's going to be
Metcalf,
sleepless in Seattle for those Seahawks. I tell you what.
Yep.
All right. Our long shots, Kyle, who do we have? Who are we throwing a dart on this week?
So this feels like kind of cheating a little bit as a long shot, but I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons running back Ito Smith, who has been named the starting running back by interim head coach Raheem Morris over Todd Gurley because Gurley has just been absolutely brutal in these last 5 games. And so I think that I think Ito is going to get the lion's share of the carries, and that alone just gives him really great value at 2x, knowing
he's going to Ito. He's going to.
Oh, wow. That was a great one.
I'll do it again. He's going to Ito.
Great job. So, Ito is going to Ito. Of course, yeah, I cringe just saying that. But he's going to probably get 15 to 20 carries in this game. The Chiefs, he's proven in the past when he's gotten the opportunity that he can be an option out of the backfield. Yeah. And the Chiefs have allowed the most receiving yards to opposing running backs. So that's going to be a thing to look out for Ito Smith. And the Chiefs have, they've improved the last few years. They haven't been good against the run. They've improved a little bit this year, but they've still allowed the 12th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. So I think Ito Smith, if he gets a touchdown, it's going to be a great value. And I just think, at 2x, with the fact that the coach of the Atlanta Falcons, Raheem Morris, has said that he's going to be the starting running back, it's hard to say that it's hard to, he's a pretty safe guy to play at 2x. So, yeah, I like Ito Smith.
I agree. I'm not saying it's cheating. You're not a Cheeto.
Oh, man. Oh, no.
Got him. All right. My long shot, of course, he's a Michigan man. Donovan Peoples-Jones at 1.8x. His last 3 games, only 3.7 targets, 2.7 receptions, but 74 yards per game. 1 touchdown in that span. He's a deep threat. A long shot, by definition, come on. Give me a deep threat. Give me one guy who needs 1 long touchdown to break the slate, and this guy's it. 19.26 fantasy points with that multiplier in his last 3 games. 28 yards per reception, definition of a long shot. New York Jets have allowed 1 touchdown to a wide receiver or a 100-yard receiver in all of their games this season, but 2. And yes, I was going against the Jets' run defense the past 3 weeks. I'm switching it up. I'm going big brain. I'm picking somebody to catch the ball against that team because nobody can goddamn run a damn thing against the Jets defense. Michigan bias. Shut up, Bert. Get out of here.
Yeah, can I just throw that in real quick? You said Michigan man like
no, there was a Freudian slip.
You said it was like a positive thing. Like that's a
It is.
very negative thing to say these days.
They have,
that
hey,
someone's a
they don't do
Michigan
well
man.
in college. They do a lot of great things in the NFL.
True. I mean,
All I'm saying, Donovan Peoples-Jones just needs one to really break it at 1.8x, and he hasn't done it yet. He is the punt returner. He is the kick returner. If he runs one back, you're getting those points too. It's almost Christmas, everybody. We gave you a whole stocking full of picks, all right? That's all you need as a DFS player on Christmas. And the winner.
So we got Zachary Simmons 9 is the winner of our story giveaway. Sorry for the pod. We had a little bit of Zachary Simmons 9. There you go. Oh yeah, it's all my fault. Yeah,
Zachary Simmons 9. If you DM us, whatever, we'll get the ticket into your account. Whatever you want to do, email, DM. Christmas is upon us. We gave you a stocking full of picks. That's all you need to win some cash. That is Kyle. I am Squish. And we'll see you. Wait, do we see you in the new year? What is? No, we don't. We'll still see you. That's my brain.
One more time.
That's my brain working.
One more time, sir.
See, everybody's saying we still see you one more time, but I don't believe it because it's my brain. We'll see you next week.
Merry Christmas.
That doesn't make sense. One more time. I thought New Year's was like 2 days. Like your pots. I'm serious right now. When is New Year's? Is it not in a week?
New Year's is